Barb, can you come up and say a few words?
Thank you. Just so you're impressed, I want you to know, Cindy lives in Boston, Ann lives in Madrid. So if you think you came a long way, she came farther. Okay, no notes, a glass of bourbon, and a big crowd. What could go wrong? This is like It's a Wonderful Life without the sad part. And I do want to say that given all the people they've dug up, I think that Putin must have helped them. I'm waking up every morning to messages from places like Oslo and LA and people that I haven't seen in years and people that are very far away wishing me well tonight. So this is a wonderful tribute, and I really appreciate it. I'm very grateful that in this era of hopefully post-COVID with today's low positivity rate, that this is a harbinger of wonderful times to come. But I want to begin with my thank yous. First of all, they've done an amazing job. They have worked as a very long committee. It's a wonderful committee. I want to thank them so much for everything they did. I want to thank the staff and the board of St. Martin. I want to particularly single out Wendy Natter, and I think we should give her a big round of applause. I've worked with Wendy over many years, and I know she wanted tonight to be perfect, and Wendy, you hit it right on the mark, so thank you very much. I want to thank also, this is my chance to thank the board. I got involved at St. Martin. As Hart said, I was thinking originally I was there to be the token woman, but I think I was there as the token Protestant. And it was, it was a group of, white Catholic men who decided to do this wonderful thing. And I got sucked in, at my very first event where the cook, Kathy DeMeo, in our first location said to me, I feed them, 2 meals and a snack every day, but I give them a bigger snack on Friday, and I give them a bigger breakfast on Monday, because a lot of these kids maybe don't get much to eat in between. And when you realize the extent of, the poverty we were confronting and the lack of support that some of these kids had and the difference we could make in their lives, I came on board. And I stayed because of the extraordinary people like Mike and David and other people that you'll meet, the founders, who it's never about them. They don't need those bracelets to say it's not about me. They don't do it for glory or tribute or credit or resumes. They do it because it matters. And I just can't leave them behind. And I ended up as chair because I was the only person in the room at the time that hadn't been chair already. But I was never sorry that I did it. I also want to thank my Pearce and hospice families who are here tonight in big turnouts. The Pearce people put up with the fact that I'm hardly ever at my desk, and they enthusiastically cheered and hugged and let me go to try to save Connecticut Hospice, and they expected me back, and that was 2.5, almost 3 years ago. They've been very gracious about it. They're wonderful agents and wonderful people. And my other work family, the Connecticut Hospice people who have 2 tables in the back there, you have many more problems and maybe more turnover, but I love you both the same. You're both my children. I'm very grateful to be working with such a wonderful group of people doing such important work. So I couldn't do everything I'm doing without the tolerance of the people around me, which includes the most my nuclear family. So they're sitting here, and my sister Diane, my husband Norm Fleming, Hope and Bradley, my kids, Hope's boyfriend Michael Stevens. They've been living this actually we've all been living together in the pandemic, and they're used to me. And as my kids say, a little of me goes a long way. So if I'm not there that much, it doesn't matter. But and Norm says I have 5 jobs, but that's perfect for me. So, but they do everything else. I just show up. Sometimes I eat, sometimes I borrow clothes, sometimes I go running with people, and otherwise I'm at work. So it's great, and I thank them very much. I couldn't do what I do without the support of a lot of other people who tolerate me. So I want to just talk a little bit about how I ended up doing what I did, because I'm modeling David. I was the MC when David got the award, and he went into his serious part. I'm going to go into mine. Very briefly, I promise. As my sister Diane would tell you, we're the product of two parents who couldn't have been more different: an introverted intellectual and an outgoing, optimistic go-getter. That was my mother and father, and I think I was hardwired to just be a blend of both of them, and to give back. They both gave back before they met each other and after they were married, and they were on countless boards. My mother, unaccountably the introvert, ran for office. They were involved in the communities, and they tried to make them a better place. In fact, I think in being at Connecticut Hospice, I have succeeded in finding the one thing that would equally have pleased them both. My mother was a psychiatric nurse who worked at Yale New Haven and taught and went to Yale School of Nursing, and my father was on the board of hospice. He sold Double Beach Club to Eklund and the Eklund building to hospice. They would have been so happy at this latest gig, which I call my capstone community project. I just want to say something about, I don't have superpowers. I have a few things that I'm very, very lucky for. I have, as people have said, a lot of energy. I have good health. I have a good memory, which is a blessing. I have grit, and I have the ability to delay gratification for a very long time. None of those are things that other people don't have. And so, they've served me very well, but if you'll indulge me, I just want to say the principles by which I live my life, because I have my two children here, I think, paying close attention for the first time since they graduated from college. So the rest of you are just along for the ride. So if you want to get down to how I decide to do what I do, my basic default position is, if I can do it, I will. I don't think about who else would be better, who else has more time. I just think, can I do this? And I put things that I do through a screen. The first screen is, if I had a year left to live, would this still be important? And, that's a very, centering principle. Not many things meet that bar. Now that I'm at hospice, I think, if I had a week left to live, would this still be important? A lot of things aren't. Some things are still worth doing. The second thing I think is, what am I doing with my time? I have to walk the walk. Like, you can say things are important, but if you're spending your time somewhere else, that's clearly what you really think is important. So, for instance, I could tell you that I spend a lot of time trying to look nice when I walk out the door. You all know that's not true. If I have to pick between running another mile and putting on makeup, what am I going to pick? So, I worked today. I got home. I started getting dressed at 5:15. I left the house at 5:25. This is what you get. That's what I do. The third thing is, I think it's important to show up. I think celebrating and grieving with people, doing things with people, reaching out to people you love, making your own families outside of your own, all of those things are really important. Being a good friend is important. And, that's something that's a central principle to what I do. And the last thing, which I've added in the last few years, is too late comes too soon. So if you say, no, I'll do it later, later might not work out. So, when you put all those things together and you say, what am I going to do? Then you want to do things that matter. And that's where you have to say, I'm going to take some risks here. When I went to hospice, no one ever said to me, you can turn hospice around. What every single person said to me, however well they knew or didn't know me, was, if anyone can do it, you can. If you listen closely, that's a far cry from this can be done. So, you have to think big. They say you eat, you eat, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? You take on big things, and you should stretch a little farther than you think you can do. Because maybe you can do a little more than you thought. Maybe you can accomplish. Maybe you'll fail. But, failing at something really important is not the worst thing. The worst thing is not trying. We rarely regret the things that we do. We regret the things we don't do. So, you really have to just say, let's just do it. My kids would say, you could be the Nike ad, except you wouldn't say just do it. You'd say just do it now. And I mean, it's not that I don't procrastinate. It's that I realized we leave it until the last minute that if I rush, I can get it done, which is why I'm always rushing. So, I do think that, your life needs to be full. And, for me, having a full life, as one friend said, means doing, yeah, I have a balanced life because I do everything to excess. So, maybe that's true, but every life should involve, everything you do, every day, you should work, you should play, you should love, you should learn, you should laugh. And if you're not doing all of those things, I mean, that's why you live in a place like New Haven. I came back here 40 years ago this month, and unlike many of my friends, I didn't go to Wall Street, make a lot of money, and then retire and try to help people. I wanted to do it all at the same time. And in a place like New Haven, you can do that. You can make a difference. How does that translate to St. Martin? This is a place that people really can make a difference. You can do the big things in life. You can run the big organizations. You can run things like I did at CBIA. Are you really going to change them? No. But can you change a kid's life? Can you turn somebody's life around? Many of us, including myself, started several rungs up the ladder. But I have enough to share with somebody else. And, in the way that learning something is best done by trying to teach someone else, making your life rich, the best way to do that is sharing it with someone else, helping someone else. That's what makes a full life and a life of no regrets. So, I would do it all over again. My favorite quote, as many of you know, and I hope I haven't used it too much, is Winston Churchill's quote that we make a living by what we get, we make a life by what we give. And, if you can do that and leave the world a little better than you found it, then you will be a happy person. When I started at hospice, every day I said to myself on the way to work 3 things. 1, you can do anything for a year. Well, I can't say that anymore. 2, I live, bring your A game, be your best self. And the 3rd one was practice gratitude. And again, the best way to practice gratitude is to share what you've got with someone else. And that's what this place has done for so many children from that very first class to the class of 2033. St. Martin has meant the difference in so many lives. And if you see what our graduates say, and when our graduates get their first job and start to give us money, that's really when we know that in one small part of the world, we've made it better. And I thank you all so much for coming here tonight. You've made the world a little better just by being here. You could have been at home. You could have been doing something else, but you came out tonight for St. Martin and for me. And for that, I'm so honored and so grateful. And I'm so lucky. As I said in my letter many of you got, I am rich in friends. And I'm so grateful for that and to all of you. And you'll get the chance tonight, if you haven't, to help St. Martin a little more. And it would not be me if I didn't make that point before I left. Because, I have a reputation to live up to. So thank you all very much.